Well, there's been a little grumbling, and I know some of the deputies have told me that they've heard it. Why did the sheriff's office go over it? And I kind of want to, the audit this year, and it being in the paper is a snapshot. But if we go back for the last 20 years, and I've said this many times before, it's actually one of the reasons I ran for office. Whenever I started getting involved in county government, I looked at our sheriff's office first, and there were officers on the street wearing shoes that had holes in the bottom of them. This is right after Terry got out of office, when Kevin came in. Our officers had bulletproof vests that were out of date, that were not even valid to be worn. They didn't have winter coats, and to me, that's just unacceptable. And one of the reasons that's happened is because we have not given the sheriff's office incremental increases in their budget like we should have. So now we're basically going to crucify them over the fact that they're $57,000 over, and I just take issue with that. We've got 11 patrol
Wait
officers.
just a minute. I don't know who's crucifying who. I wanted to sit down and see if we can work this out.
I'm not saying you. I'm saying the public. When they read something like that, the first thing, especially in this economy, is to say, why are you not being responsible with our tax dollars? And I want to make sure people have a very clear understanding, very clear, that our sheriff's office is doing everything they can with the funds they have available, which aren't adequate to begin with. We have 11 patrol officers on the road, 11. So if you're out there and your home's being broke into and you want to know why they're not there quickly to file a report for your insurance, it's because they don't have the proper funding. If you want to know why somebody isn't there at your accident scene as quickly as you would like, it's because there's not proper funding. It's very simple. And until we continue, and I know Bob and Terry have made great strides. I know that they have put some money into it. I know that they bought vehicles, and I know this court has been supportive over the last couple of years. But we've got 20 years worth of issues that we're dealing with now. And I have a problem with it looking like our department is not doing what they can do, and it's not good for the morale of our deputies who are out there making a little bit more than what our park workers are per hour. And this is personal for me because they're out there every day putting their lives on the line for the people of this community, and we're asking them why they spent a little bit over their budget. This isn't even, we earlier in this year we had $125,000 that we accidentally spent in our jail budget, and we make it a line item and we approve it. But we've got a front page article on why we're $57,000 short in our sheriff's budget. And I just think we need to put that into a little bit of perspective. So.
Well, that's why I said I'd like to sit down with the sheriff and see. Of course, every time we have a county audit, it's in the paper, and most of the time it's front page, and I don't know, I'm not objecting.
Not like this, though.
Well, I don't know. They've never held back on busting me.
Well, Judge, you're Judge Miller. I mean, come on.
I know,
I'm
but
saying, I'm saying
we
let's
can
keep
resolve
this,
this, but to say that the fiscal court has not tried to adequately fund the sheriff, we subsidize $1.1 million, and that's.
we subsidize 200.
No,
Well,
I
about
think
220
you're
now.
wrong
Well,
there.
but if you include fringe and things like that.
Everything. We have to
we're-
look at
we're
everything.
over $1 million.
Right.
Yeah, see, I think what we're looking at here, Emily, is when I took over as sheriff 13 years ago, the subsidy, not counting that, just the subsidy line from the fiscal court was $160,000. When I left office, it was $120. 9 years later, and I had to pick up 3 officers who were on a federal program, paid 75% of that, not to mention the officers that were paid by the county that they stopped paying. So it put them in a pretty tight spot. And then with no increases annually, say when I lost $40,000 10 years ago, that was pretty tough. And then you get no increase all that time, you fall behind. Every year you're just a little further behind. So what I did to maintain the manpower, the car, instead of having cars with 50,000 miles on them when I left office, they had 120. And the men had holes in their shoes and no jackets. That's how we managed. And I'm not really blaming anyone, except it's just a fact that if we don't keep up the pace, something has to suffer. And that's just simple as that. And I mean, I know other counties around us probably are not as in good a shape as we are, but nevertheless, we are what we are, And that's where we have to try to figure out And I think that, like Judge said, we need to sit down with the sheriff and figure out how we can manage
Sure.
and work
And
through
I think
this.
we can do that. I don't
There needs to be
see a
work
rub.
through, but I do agree that I think the sheriff's been made a spectacle in this situation. And I didn't really like that when I read it in the paper myself. Because we had a shortfall this spring of $123,000, and we didn't get the attention that this has gotten. And I don't know that the sheriff has done, I think he's probably done as well as he could with what he had.
Yeah.
What we've got to do is we do the best we can, try to provide the services to the public that we do.
Just for informational purposes, statistically, other counties are doing better than we are. We are one of the most understaffed, only because our cities encompass a much smaller proportion of our counties. And I brought this study to you all a couple of years ago. If you look at Murray, they have a majority of Callaway County encompassed by Murray City. And in Murray City, you have Murray City Police, you have MSU police, so they take care of Murray, whereas the sheriff's office is left to patrol the rest of the county. Here you have small cities of Benton and Calvert who do have their own police departments, but you're only looking at 7,000 in population. According to, statistics, we're supposed to have one officer for every 1,500 residents. If you factor out your city residents, you're left with 24,000 individuals that our sheriff's office is responsible for taking care of. One for every 1,500. We should have 16 road patrol officers on the road. That's not during the summer months when tourism says our population doubles. So not only do we not have 16 officers on the road, we don't have the 32 that we need during the summer months. We have 11. So this is a personal issue for me, and I do get passionate about it, but it's because before we point fingers, we need to make sure we're educated on the issues.
Okay.